Chinese animation in general has just been getting more. I mean, let's be honest, everything Chinese has been getting more and more popular. I think this year especially, you know, we've kind of reached like a breaking point where Chinese media is just starting to skyrocket in popularity. Of course, last year we had Black Myth Wukong breaking all kinds of records. But even in the world of like anime, Japanese animation, there are some really fucking exciting Chinese projects that are being released. Have you guys heard of To Be Hero X?
No.
So, Kai, search up the trailer to Be Hero X. This is an anime that's going to be airing, that is currently airing this season.
Okay.
And it looks fucking insane.
Okay.
Like, I am talking arcane quality of production values.
Should we watch the trailer?
Yeah, you guys can watch the trailer.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah. So this is a collaboration between Aniplex and Bilibili, and I look at this right, and it's basically My Hero Academia crossed with like Fate. Basically, it's basically a big tournament where different superheroes from different universes or different places come together for one big fucking action tournament.
Is that why there's different art styles?
Yeah, so there's different art styles, and they all get blended together.
Whoa.
Sawano Hiroyuki.
Yeah. Hiroyuki Sawano's in this as well. And honestly, I look at something like this, and at this very moment, I haven't watched any episodes, but this just looks like on a different level of like production values that you get to see.
This is ridiculous.
It's like movie quality.
Yeah. Right. With
damn.
so many different art styles, so many different studios working on this, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a dream project.
I also noticed that the voice actors are Japanese.
Yeah, sounds like it.
There's going to be like a Japanese dub and a Chinese dub to this as well. But no, it looks absolutely fucking insane.
I was thinking about this the other day when we watched Link Click, and I was like, it's interesting how the Chinese media that is doing well is like emulating Japanese media. Like, you know, you think of like Hoyoverse, you know, the games are massive, but you know, most people play them with the JP voice actors. And it's that's a Chinese game.
Yeah.
But like, we never think, like even like, I think the games themselves never offer like, maybe they do offer Chinese voices.
No, they do offer Chinese voices.
But it's like always like Japanese or English.
That's because we're fucking weebs, okay?
Right? But like, isn't this so strange?
I think it's fucking like every time I stream one of those games and I stream with like English dub, everyone's like, "Yo, do the Japanese dub," and I'm like, "That's not even the original dub."
Isn't that crazy? Because that would be like watching like a Spanish movie and then being like, "Nah, you got to watch the Viet dub, bro. You got to watch the Viet dub," and it's like not like the both base language and the language that you are suggesting are not your language.
Yeah.
Like, nor is it the original. Like, which is crazy, right? Because like, if you were to play like watch this anime, you'd be like, if you wanted, you know, most people when they watch a movie, they want to watch it in the original language.
Yeah.
So, but for some reason, with like anything that is like Japanese-esque media, like even stuff that is not Japanese, it's like, nah, you got to watch it in Japanese. And it's like, I'm sure if like Japan made a Marvel film and if you were Chinese, would you be like, nah, you got to watch this in English? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that so bizarre that we're like, we like see a style and it doesn't matter like which country or origin or whatever, you're like, nah, I got to watch the Japanese. Like
otherwise it doesn't feel right.
Like somehow they will now understand the media or understand the message of said media better than any other voice actors would.
Right.
And like maybe there's an argument there to be like, they'll still sound the best. But like I was like losing my mind like thinking about how weird this is.
I'm like, bro, you still got the subs on. What's the difference?
Yeah, right? Like I'm sure there's people who watch Castlevania, and I was thinking about this, you probably thought like, no, I want to hear the Japanese. And it's like, brother, it's English.
Yeah.
Like, you know? So like why do we do that? Like, why is this a thing? This only happens with Japanese media or Japanese-like media.
Well, I think
there's fucking goated. Clearly.
I mean, Japanese voice acting is goated.
It is, yeah.
But there's also just the whole Japanese thing, you know, Japanese thing. Yeah.
But like, isn't that kind of crazy that like, it feels like everything that Japan's doing, China is like, I'll just do it bigger and better.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the resources, they have the budgets, and they got the manpower now. And I think the biggest thing they were missing before was experience, but now they are, you know, a lot of Chinese animation studios have helped Japanese productions before, and now they have clearly been able to use that experience just to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's starting to like come to fruition. And I think it's only a matter of time before we get more and more big budgets.
I think so.
High profile Chinese animation.
Because I think all the big mobile games that once used to be Japanese
are now Chinese.
Now
Chinese.
Like other than Fate and maybe some of the idle games that are only popular in Japan. What are some big Japanese games?
Uma Musume, maybe?
Yeah.
I would only really count that as a Japan thing though as well, right?
Yeah.
Like is Uma Musume that popular outside of Japan?
Maybe in Asia.
Yeah. Any
maybe
country where horse race betting is popular, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, and I wonder if we're going to see that change because obviously this started happening 5 to 7 years ago.
COVID, I would say.
Yeah, COVID is when the shift to mobile games or gaming in general kind of became a lot more dominated by China as opposed to Japan. But not even that like they're dominating like gaming, but like it felt like China specifically, everything that Japan was the niche for, they were like, no. Because they haven't, like, Western gaming or other types hasn't, like, kind of had this thing. So I've just been thinking about it. Like, why specifically has China gotten so good at emulating, like, specifically, like, Japanese-style games or, like, Japanese media?
Well, I would say, Whenever any artist makes something, you have to get it inspired by something. You have to get
true.
your inspiration from something. And I think just so many people in Chinese animation had helped. Probably been inspired by Japanese anime.
I mean, it probably also helps that there's like a cultural similarity as well in a lot of aspects between China and Japan as opposed to Japan and, the West, for instance.
Yeah, that's
right. So it's probably more natural for them to just go with that kind of style because I'm sure like even before a lot of those Chinese animation studios were helping Japanese animation studios, they were already kind of in that anime-esque style, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a natural transition, I think, to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I've read a bunch of like Chinese manhwa as well. And it's similar to manga and that storytelling style. You can definitely tell it's inspired, but I would still say that it definitely has a more, there are subtleties into how it represents that culture and just the different trends you see. I would say, especially in Chinese manhwa, it's all about, I'm going to put this, a lot of stories, the main character just has aura. There's a lot of aura farming, man, and like looking cool. In Japan, we have like our isekai protagonist.
It's like literally the opposite.
Yeah.
We got negative aura.
They have like aura losing.
Yeah.
And you can tell
aura draining.
And you can tell with a lot of the difference. I mean, fucking Solo Leveling has blown up this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the difference, I will say, on paper, you look at something like Solo Leveling, and what Solo Leveling does well is not something that most isekai don't also do. It's a power fantasy. Kirito was there at the beginning, but the difference in aura between your average isekai protagonist and Sung Jin Woo, I'm like, there's only one winner for that. And I know Solo Leveling is Korean, but still, it's you see the slight difference in tones and approaches for this kind of thing.
There might be like the Japanese like cultural side of like wanting to be reserved.
Yeah, never be like the
and being like no. Like I'm happy with where I am. I'm fine with just accepting like this very humble position that I am, and that's why a lot of the isekai protagonists in Japanese media I feel is very much that kind of vibe where it's like no, I'm just happy to be in this world, guys. Like it's all good. Meanwhile, in China and Korea, they were like, I need to be the most based motherfucker imaginable, otherwise I will not be happy.
There are everyone's a fucking aura farmer, man. I swear to God. But I mean, it's interesting just to see different cultural viewpoints for something that looks aesthetically very, very similar. Very, very similar. Because have you guys been watching Solo Leveling at all?
No.
I watched like 2 episodes so long ago when season 1 was out.
I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of season 1.
But I know everyone loves it. Everyone's talking about it.
I mean, it is the next big thing, right now. It's insane to me how popular it's gotten because I knew it was going to get popular, not this popular.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten like mainstream, I feel like. Everyone's kind of talking about it.
Yeah, especially during like this season 2. And you look at the selling point of like what is the selling point of Solo Leveling, and it's 90% aura. And I think I said this on stream. I think we're in like we're going to see like a slight shift into the anime that's getting made nowadays.
I mean, I won't lie. Like, it's probably just fucking refreshing to have a protagonist that's not a fucking wimp.
Yeah, legit.
I think like that has been an iterative thing that has been very annoying. Like not every single, but like we are so used to so many main characters in anime just being like annoying, whiny, like
I'm just a
kind
little
of pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, I imagine it's probably just a breath of fresh air to have. Like, I mean, I haven't watched the new season, but like, presumably a guy that is just like what a 10-year-old would think is cool.
Yeah.
Like, is, you know, like just a guy with pure aura and nothing else and not much else going on.
Yeah.
Finally, a main protagonist with self-confidence.
Right? Like, I think that's probably like also a reason why it's probably done well with probably with, assuming, amazing animation. I haven't watched it.
It's got amazing animation, amazing action.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing is what I knew it was going to be from the webcomic anyway. But I was like saying, I think this is going to signal a shift into like the aura farming era. That is my prediction for the next 5. Because like what I see with Solo Leveling, I get the same feeling watching the success of Solo Leveling as I did seeing Sword Art Online pop off 10, 20, how long has it been? Fucking 13 years ago now?
15 years ago, I believe.
15 years ago?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I think 14? 2011?
10 or 11.
I thought it was 2012. It was 2012.
Oh,
So
okay, let's see who's right. We all said a different
2012.
thing.
2012.
Oh, Gaunt is spot on, bro.
Yeah, but he's
the
also the isekai. He's also the
encyclopedia.
isekai man, so he knows.
He knows the birth of his genre.
No, I know everything up to 2012 because that's when I started doing my yearly recap. So I'm like, okay, let me think back to what year I talked about this. 2012 sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just going in loops, you know? Maybe we're just going in loops. We'll get Giga Chad protagonists, and in 5 years we'll be like,
I mean,
God, I just want a guy with a bit of depth, not just a Giga Chad. You know?
I mean, no. Back in the day, when I first watched Sword Art Online, I'll be honest, I thought Kirito was a Giga
We
Chad.
all thought he was a Giga Chad.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be a beater.
Yo, that scene when they're like, yo, actually, I am the beta. I am a beta. You're right. I'm like, yo, he's so cool. And that scene where he fucking
Slash at me all you want, but my healing is too high level. And it's just like,
right?
yo!
Yes.
I mean, that was aura farming.
That
back
was
then.
aura farming.
Okay, that was aura farming. But
Except then Kirito was like a fucking 12-year-old. Yo, what's up, guys? And then you're like, okay.
Don't kill my girlfriend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And then he like raises a kid for some reason. And you're like, that's not very Giga Chad of you to stick around to raise a kid.
God forbid.
yeah. But the fucking scene where he brings out the second sword for the first time, engraved into like my mind back then.
Yeah.
And now you look back and you're like, damn, compared to the aura of modern day protagonists,
Kirito's a bitch.
he is a beta actually. They called it right. What the hell is going on?
I mean, it'd be nice to see if the trend changes, because I feel like we have been stuck in an isekai rut for quite a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, isekai is never gonna fully go away, but
it felt like it's the main, the like main shows that are produced.
It's the main formula.
The amount, the quantity.
Yeah.
Like, we get a lot of isekais.
Yeah.
And so we've spoken about this like a million times in the episode, how we're like, please, we want this to change. So hopefully it changes.
Yeah, because if Solo Leveling is the success of Solo Leveling is an indicator of anything, then we might see more webcomics, webtoons. I mean, I feel like Solo Leveling is what they wanted, like Tower of Gods, and
They put a lot into that too.
they put a lot into that, but they didn't blow up like Solo Leveling did.
No.
And oh boy, if you think the isekai genre is brain rots, oh boy, let me tell you about Korean manhwa and Chinese cultivation manhwa, man.
What is cultivation manhwa?
Huh?
What is cultivation manhwa?
It is a genre in, a lot of Chinese webcomics where it's basically about, cultivating martial arts, kind of like cultivating ki and all that kind of thing. It's a whole genre. It's basically their equivalent of the isekai genre. It's pure power fantasy trash, but just with a different thing.
I hope that's not the lesson that like is taken from this. They're like, well, clearly they want more power fantasy and garbage. We should just get it from a different country.
Look at Solo Leveling,
I know.
man.
I'm worried that the shift will be just isekai garbage from another country. Like that's the lesson they take. They're like, oh, Sasuga. They just start adapting basically the Chinese version of the Japanese shows.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the lesson that is being taken away here.
I honestly think that might be the lesson that they've taken.
Why?